Hi, this is Mark News from Plant Talk Radio. Thanks for subscribing and listening to our podcast, Your Gardening Questions from Plant Talk Radio. To keep this podcast free, we're partnering with Stoke Seeds. Indoor seed starting is fun, easy, and economical, and now's the time to start your seeds. If you're looking to grow a vegetable variety or add a punch of color to your flower garden, review the Stoke Seeds Starting Guide online. You'll find information about soil preparation, moisture, temperature, light, transplanting, and more. The Stoke Seeds website is a complete resource center that you need to make your garden the envy of the neighborhood. Get growing with Stokes. We'll have more to come from Stoke Seeds in the next few weeks. Now, for today's question.
You know, and it's a good time to survey your yard and maybe your gardens and determine what you want to do this spring. If the soil is dry enough, and you have a garden area for vegetables in your yard, you know, you can get that tilled up and get it ready. Mm-hmm. And as far as the landscape beds go, right now we're going around and edging the beds because the soil is moist and it's fairly easy to do. And it defines the space between the lawn and the landscape plant material. And it makes it nice and sharp. It's like taking a paintbrush and painting your trim, you know.
Yeah.
And it's a little early to mulch, but, you know, you can get ready. Trimming, you know, some plants can be trimmed now. I know burning bush is one that a couple clients, I'm going to trim their burning bush today.
Mm-hmm. What about roses? Is it too early for the roses?
No, I think we're at a point now, if you whether you trimmed your roses back in the fall or you haven't trimmed them, I think you can go through and trim them now. I've noticed in some areas the roses are starting to wake up, and I see a little tip of new growth on them. It's always a good time to trim them back, trim the dead out of them, get some shape on them, and then they'll come out nice for you this year.
And I know when Fred has talked about roses in the past, how hard do you generally prune yours, and how many stems do you leave on it?
Well, it depends on the kind of rose. If it's a hybrid tea, I would probably try to trim everything out except the very strongest stems, which might be 3, 4, 5 stems in a mature rose. If you're talking about something like a knockout or a home run variety of roses, typically we try to trim those down to 12 to 18 inches in height. That kind of determines how tall they're going to get in the landscape. And another thing I might mention to people about roses is, you know, throughout the season, if they get too aggressive and they need to be trimmed back, you can do that. Mm-hmm. I mean, in August, for instance, if you think that's growing over the sidewalk or something, don't hesitate to go out and trim it. Now, it will delay the flowers sometimes, but depending on how much you cut them back. But and the same thing is true of other plants.
Hey, thanks again for listening to the podcast. Remember, lose the winter blues and garden indoors. Start your indoor seeds with the help of Stokes Gardening Guide and their online articles. For the best selection of vegetable, flower, and herb seeds available, go to stokeseeds.com. Catalogs are still available. Stoke Seeds, cultivating successful growers for generations.